Well, hello and welcome everybody to Energized San Antonio. I'm Dan Eason of Energized San Antonio and Energized Real Estate. Today I'm interviewing the San Antonio inspirational person, Michael Pinkston, who is the superintendent at Castle Hills First Baptist School here in San Antonio. Well, Michael, I know that you've lived here before, but you went away for quite a while and are relatively new. Back here in the city. I've been here about a year and a half to take this position as superintendent. And I'd like to find out from you, first of all, what is your favorite thing about living in San Antonio?
Well, Dan, as you mentioned, I grew up down here, especially my junior high and high school years. I was a graduate of Thomas Jefferson back in 1975 and went on to the University of Texas and then to graduate school from there and then have been away all those years. And about May 2010, I got a call from Castle Hills First Baptist Church to consider becoming the superintendent out here at Castle Hills First Baptist School. And I'd only had 2 jobs in my adult life all those years, 32 years. And there was just something about that call that had a tug on my heart and a feeling about San Antonio, and the next thing I knew, I was planted back here where we kind of got started in life.
Well, anyway, we're happy to have you here in the city. I've watched you do some neat things, you and the staff there at Castle Hills First Baptist School, and so I just thought you were, certainly a San Antonio inspirational person and somebody that just needed to be talked with and let the whole world know kind of some of the neat things that you're doing here in the city and the students are doing. So first of all, what is something that the school is contributing to make San Antonio, contributing to make San Antonio a better place?
Well, of course, every city, of all the cities I've lived in, I don't know of a much better place, but there's not any place on the planet that doesn't need some help and work or, encouragement along the way. And one of the things that we do here at Castle Hills is that we have a phraseology and a slogan that really has caught with the students and families. And it's basically the idea that if it exists, it must serve. And we're big on developing tomorrow's leaders today. We kind of have an inverted pyramid in terms of how leadership develops. It starts down at the bottom, and in a serving role, you learn to lead by serving. And all across this community, we're involved with other nonprofits and just little places around the community, whether it's out in Wheatley Courts, in the housing projects, or whether it's in our own backyard here out in Castle Hills. There are just plenty of places to put young people to work, to help them learn to roll up their sleeves, get their hands dirty, and to put others first. And when that has an effect or an impact of assisting kids in a largely, increasingly self-centered kind of world and culture, it puts the right bend on a kid's heart.
What's an example of what the kids are doing when they go out into the community for outreach?
Well, I just mentioned Wheatley Courts as an example, and recently I took our football team before the season was over out there, and those guys went out and did a little football clinic with all those little knot-headed boys in the neighborhood, and my cheerleaders went out and taught cheers and did some stunts with little girls in the neighborhood. We did snacks and did a homework period and talked about school and the value of school. And then related to their culture, there's and some of the tests that those children face in their day-to-day life, some of the testings and some of the temptations that are out there for them. Those big boys put a football uniform on one of the fellas and taught a lesson out of the Bible, Ephesians 6, on the whole armor of God, and talked about how to resist evil and how to make good choices. And it was just an amazing, magic moment between those little boys out there in that community, and those big boys off that football team, and when it was all said and done, those kids were hanging all over our kids, and you could just tell that a connection had been made, and just a little seed of truth put down in their hearts, and it was a good day. Tomorrow, for example, we've got families gathering here at the school. There are 19 nonprofits around the city that will be breaking up into groups: parents, kids, grandparents, teenagers in some groups, and we'll just be fanning out all across this city to just serve other people who serve this community. I think this community is rich in terms of the number of people who have a heart for those in need or who've hit life's bumps in the road. And so tomorrow, our whole school's focus is just to serve those who serve others.
Well, I like it. I mean, so in other words, you're teaching them that it's not just about them. There's some others out there that they need to go out and witness to or help take care of.
That's exactly right.
I like it. Another thing that I really like that I've heard about a little bit in some conversations with you, and that's a leadership program that you're starting there at the school. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, we started laying a foundation for that. We have a great master plan for a school within our school called the Academy of Excellence and Leadership Development. And the basic idea of that school within a school is students can hold dual enrollment in Castle Hills First Baptist School and the Academy after they graduate from 8th grade. And through their high school years, they have varying degrees of commitment. I mentioned some of those serving opportunities. Well, there's actually some leadership opportunities within those that give kids hands-on experience. Leadership is really better caught than taught. You get it by hanging out with people who are leaders. A second facet of that leadership development program is the powerful influence of mentoring. Our kids do early in high school do an instrument that we call Career Direct, and it's kind of like a Briggs-Meyer type instrument, but it goes really a lot farther and richer in helping kids uncover and discover how they're hardwired, what they're gifted to do, and which leads to them having a much better sense than an average young person, especially in the world today, and knowing what they're going to do in life, where they're headed, what career field they're focused towards, because they kind of understand how they're put together, and then from that we assign a mentor from the professional field. If a young fellow wants to be a vet and his next step is to go to A&M, then we're going to try to find an Aggie vet. A vet for sure, if not an Aggie vet, and a person of strong character who'd be willing to spend some time, not just to mentor them in terms of showing them some ropes in terms of their professional life, but to talk through some of the steps that it took to get there, and to initiate some personal challenge and just to be that person that kid can go to and just talk through their dreams and goals, and to have some sense and help of how to get there.
Well, it sounds like a neat program. I wish I would have had something available to me like that when I was a kid. One of the things that really impresses me about you is your energy. You just have tremendous energy. So, what gives you that energy?
I don't know. I just want to tell you, it must be appropriate that I'm speaking on Energized San Antonio, but that I've always had high levels of motivation. But about 32 years ago, I made a decision. I was pre-med major up at the University of Texas, and ended up going to a little classroom. I got pulled off a back row in a church and sat in a classroom with some boys. Somebody didn't show up for a little class. I had no materials, nothing to do. I spent an hour with those boys and just caught the bug. I just knew that as much as I had dreamed and thought medicine was where I should plant my life, I just began to see that the influence in that connection, and that energy that you're talking about that a lot of people associate with me really began back in that day. I really understood what I was created to do. I've spent my life working with boys and girls and teens and looking to raise their sights and help them set higher goals and believe in themselves and get the Lord connected in the middle of their life and to learn work ethic and the value of character and those kinds of things. And it's I wake up every day, it's a new day, it's a whole new adventure, and so I think most of us get pretty energized when we're doing what we love most and best.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never seen anybody motivate such a large group of kids as I see you do, and so really, just hats off to you and what you're doing there, and what your teachers, your staff is doing. So congratulations on that.
That's the real secret to success. Anybody can be successful when they're surrounded by great people.
Well, now tell me a little bit about Castle Hills First Baptist School. How many students do you have?
Well, there's currently 400 and headed towards 450 students on campus, a little over 500 in the fall. And we're a kindergarten to 12th grade school with a preschool attached and associated with us, and another 180 kids there, and just a college preparatory focus, and obviously we're a Christian school with a Christ-centered focus, and the Bible is the foundation of the school, and a school that it just happens to be working at. This past year, our senior class was 100% college bound and 70% academically scholarship to college or university. I've been doing this a long time, but it hasn't happened this well, and I showed up at the right time at the right place. This is an amazing school. I think one of the best kept secrets in San Antonio.
Well, you're just doing amazing things, and I encourage anybody to go by and meet you at some point. Go to the school there that's housed at the Castle Hills First Baptist School. Go in and ask for you and meet you. They'll be impressed. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And well, again, congratulations to what you're doing at the school. Super glad to have you here in San Antonio. I think that you're just a neat person, certainly an inspirational person. And thank you for taking the time to visit with us today.
It's great being with you, Dan. I appreciate you similarly.
Okay. Bye.
Bye now.